In this video, we're going to review for the second test, and the content in it is composite functions and inverse function. So let's look at the first question. So first you evaluate a function. So here you have one equation f, and the question is f of -2 equals what? So you just need to plug -2 to the place of x in the equation. So you're going to plug -2 in. If you plug in a negative number, you have to give it a parenthesis, then square it, and put this entire thing 2 parenthesis -2 parenthesis close square minus 3 in your calculator. You should have 5, and that's it. Second one. So here you're going to plug 0 to the place of x and put the entire thing in your calculator. You should have 7, and that's it. Next one. So here you have a composite equation. So what are we going to do? So here you have equation f and equation g. When you get the problem, immediately erase the parentheses in your original equation to not confuse you with the x in it. Okay? And then look at your question. It asks you to plug equation g into equation f. So bubble equation g, which is here. Plug it into equation f to the place of x, and immediately erase your x and draw a bubble here. And you're going to rewrite this equation, which is 3 bubble plus 2. So let's put it in the answer part. 3 bubble plus 2. And what is the real content of your bubble? It is x squared minus 5. So put the real content inside. So that's your new composite equation. You put one equation into the other. Okay? And look at your question. It asks you to evaluate your new equation when x equals 2. So you're going to plug 2 to the place of your x in your new equation. So x is gone, plug in 2. And you're going to evaluate this entire equation. Put it in your calculator. 3 parenthesis 2 square minus 5 close parenthesis plus 2. And what your calculator is going to give you, it should be -1. And that's it. Okay. Next one. So here you have two equations, and it asks you for the composite equation again. So immediately erase the parentheses and x in your original equation to not confuse you. And this time, the question asks you to plug equation f into equation g. So bubble equation f, which is here, plug it into equation g to the place of x. So erase your x immediately and draw a bubble there. And you're going to rewrite this equation, which is bubble square minus 5. So write it down. Bubble square minus 5. And put the real content of the bubble in here, which is 3x plus 2. Okay, so you have the new equation, you put one into the other. And finally, your question asks you to evaluate this new equation by 2. So when x equals 2, plug 2 to the place of x. And it's not 32, it's 3 times 2. So give it parentheses to separate the two numbers. And you're going to put everything here, including the double parentheses, in your calculator. And what you get is your result, which should be 59. And that's it. Okay. Next one. So here, I have done this one. So next one, you have two equations again, but this time the question is a little bit different, right? But no matter what, when you get the equations, erase the parenthesis x in your original equation, and then look at your question. It asks you to plug equation g into equation f. So bubble equation g, plug it into equation f to the place of x. So erase x, draw a bubble here, and you're going to rewrite this equation, which is 3 bubble plus 2. So write it down, 3 bubble plus 2. Okay? And what is the content of the bubble? It is x squared minus 5. Plug it in. So this is your new equation, but this time look at your question. In the question, you don't have a number here, so you don't have to evaluate it. What are you going to do for the rest of the job? You're going to simplify your result by getting rid of the parentheses. So how are you going to simplify it? You are going to get rid of the parentheses by multiplying 3 to everybody inside of the parentheses. Okay? So first arrow, 3 times x squared is 3x squared. Second arrow, 3 times 5, 3 times negative 5, this is negative 5, okay? 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. And don't forget, you have a plus 2 on the back you haven't touched. Bring it down. So here you get rid of the parentheses. And finally, look for like terms. Okay? From the beginning, this is x squared. You don't see any x squares on the back, so this is a single guy. Copy it down. And it's gone. And next is a single number. And you see another single number on the back. They are the same kind. You can combine them by add them up. So negative 15 add 2, you should have negative 13. And that's it. Okay? So if your question don't ask you to evaluate it, if you don't have a number here, you just simplify your result by getting rid of the parentheses. Okay, next one. Here we still have these two equations. And again, clean your equation, clean it up. Okay? And then the question asks you to put equation F into equation G this time. So bubble your equation F, plug it into equation G to the place of x. So erase your x, draw a bubble there, and you're going to rewrite this equation, which is bubble squared minus 5. So write it down, bubble squared minus 5. Okay, so what is the real content of your bubble? Is 3x plus 2, so put it in. Okay. So you have this new equation, and again in your question you don't have a number here, so you don't need to evaluate it. You just need to get rid of the parentheses and simplify your answer. But this time you see what? You see you have a square outside of the parentheses. So first get rid of the square by double the parentheses. And minus 5, copy it down because you haven't touched it. And inside of parentheses, you have the same thing, which is 3x plus 2. Okay, so here we get rid of the square first, and then keep getting rid of the parentheses. This time the two parentheses multiply each other, so you're going to distribute to the multiplication. So you're going to use the first guy in the first parenthesis, multiply everybody in the second parenthesis. And you're going to use the second guy in the first parenthesis, multiply everybody in the second parenthesis. Okay? So we're going to do 4 basic multiplications. First arrow, 3x times 3x. Number part, 3 times 3 is 9. X part, x times x is x squared. Second arrow, 3x times positive 2. Number part, 3 times 2 is positive 6. X part, this guy have an x, this guy have nothing. So you only have one x. Nothing you can do, copy it down. Next arrow, 2 times 3x. Number part, 2 times 3, positive 6. X part, you only have one x, copy it down. Last arrow, 2 times positive 2, positive 4. And don't forget you have a minus 5 you haven't touched. Write it down. So here we get rid of the 2 parentheses. Okay? Finally, look for like terms and combine them. Okay? From the beginning, x squared. No more x squared on the back, so this is a single guy. Copy it down. And it's gone. And next is x and x. They are like terms. Combine them by add up the number in the front. So positive 6 plus 6 is positive 12. And bring down the like term part, which is x. And after combining them, they're gone. Finally, you have two single numbers you can combine, add them up. 4 plus negative 5 is negative 1. And that's it. Okay? So if your square is outside of the parentheses, you're going to double the parentheses and multiply 4 times to get rid of them and combine like terms. So that's it about composite function. Now let's look at inverse function. Okay? So here you have an original picture and it asks you which one of this right picture is your inverse of the original one. So what are you going to do? So first you're going to pick up 3 points on your old picture. So pick up the starting point and the coordinate is -2, -1. And pick up a point on the left side and the coordinate is -4, 3. And then pick up a point on the right side. It is on the y-axis. So y is a number which is 3, x is 0. Okay? So you have the 3 old points. And then look for the inverse of each of the old points. Inverse means switch the place of x and y. So before it is -2, -1, the inverse is -1, -2. The second one, the inverse is 3, -4. The last one, the inverse is 3, 0. So you have the 3 inverse points. And now flag the 3 inverse points in the coordinate plane and see which one of them have the exact 3 inverse point. And you see this point is -1, -2. This is 3, 0. This is 3, -4. So only this picture have the 3 inverse point. So C is the inverse picture of your old one. And that's it. Okay. Next one. Here you have an equation and look for the inverse of the equation. So what are you going to do? So first, you're going to switch the place of x and y. So y become x, x become y, and copy the rest. Okay. And you have this new equation. And finally, you're going to write it in the standard form by singling out your y. So how can you single out the y? You want to get rid of the 2, get rid of the 7, starting with a single number without y. Get rid of the 7 by -7, and do the same on the other side of the equal sign. So this is gone. And you bring down 2y. On the other side is x -7 together. And you want to keep singling out your y by getting rid of the 2 by division. Do the same on the other side with everybody. So this is gone. And you only have y left, which is what you want. Equal sign. On the other side, in front of the x is imaginary 1, so the number part is 1/2. Then x and -7/2 is already the simplest fraction. Nothing you can do, so that's it. Okay. So first switch the place of x and y, and then singling out your y by solving the equation for y by getting rid of the numbers on the same side. Next one. Look for the inverse of this equation. So again, first switch the place of x and y, and copy the rest. And then before you singling out your y, you want to get rid of the fraction. How can you get rid of the fraction? You're going to multiply the entire equation by the bottom, by the denominator of the fraction, which is 4. So let's do the multiplication. 4 times everybody in the equation. So first, 4 times x is 4x, equal sign. Next, 4 times 3 over 4. The denominator and the 4 outside cancels each other out, and you have 3y left. Copy down. Last is 4 times -2, which is -8. Don't forget it's -2. Okay? And now you don't have any fraction. You can keep singling out your y by getting rid of the -8 first, by +8. Do the same on the other side. So this is gone. And you have 3y left. On the other side is 4x plus 8. And keep singling out your y by getting rid of the 3 by division. Do the same on the other side with everybody. So this is gone. And you have y by itself. On the other side, in front of the x is 4 over 3. And then x plus 8 over 3. You can no longer simplify it. And that's it. Your inverse equation. Okay, so here the special thing is get rid of the fraction by multiply your entire equation by the denominator. So you cancel it out. And then keep singling out your y. Okay. Next one is for pre-AP class. So here you have a equation, and again look for the inverse of it. First switch the place of x and y, and copy the rest. Okay, and then you wanna single out your y by get rid of the -2 and get rid of the square. So which one first? Okay, so y minus 2 is inside of the parentheses. It's being covered. You cannot touch it yet. So what is outside? The square is outside. So get rid of the outside guy that you can touch first. So how can you get rid of the square? What is the opposite of square? Is square root. So you're going to give the square a square root and do the same on the other side with x. Okay? And let's see what we have. Square root and the square cancels each other out. And you take the inside out, which is y minus 2. And on the other side, you have square root of x. So now you take the -2 out. You can start touching it by getting rid of the -2 by +2. Do the same on the other side. So this is gone. And you only have y left. On the other side is square root of x, then outside of it, +2. So square root of x +2. And that's it. Okay, so here the key is you want to get rid of two things. Start with which one? The thing inside, you cannot touch it. So start with the outside thing that you can touch to get rid of it. Okay. Last one. So here, first, switch the place of x and y. Copy the rest. Okay. And now you have the 2, you have the 3 you want to get rid of. So you can singling out your y. So which one to start with? 2 is under the house, it's being covered, so you cannot touch it. The only thing you can touch is the thing outside, which is 3. So first get rid of the +3 and -3 on both sides. So this is gone. Okay? And you bring down whatever you haven't touched. Here you have square root of 2y equal sign. On the other side is x minus 3. Okay, and you want to keep singling out your y by get rid of the 2, but 2 is under the house, right? So you cannot touch it. So first you need to get rid of the square root. You need to get rid of the house. How? The opposite of square root is square. Do the same on the other side. On the other side, you have x minus 3 together. So together, give it a square. Okay? And let's see what we have. On the right side, square root and square cancels each other out. You take the inside out, which is 2y left. The house is gone. On the other side is x minus 3 square. You cannot touch it. You cannot do nothing. So copy it down. Okay, and keep singling out your y at division. Do the same on the other side. On the other side, you have parenthesis square. So parenthesis square divided by 2. So this is gone. And you only have, let's put the answer here. You only have y left on the right side. And on the left, you have x minus 3 square divided by 2. And that's your new equation, inverse equation. And that's it. Okay, so again, the rule is whatever is under the house, you cannot touch it. You can touch the thing outside or get rid of the house. Then you can touch the inside. Okay.